Hi, in this session we'll talk about SAP Fiori extensibility. So this is the agenda of the session. So we'll cover the overview of SAP Fiori extensibility. We'll cover OData extensibility with SAP Fiori and then the UI extensibility with SAP Fiori. So in this slide we'll cover the overview of extensibility. So what it is. So it is a well documented SAP Fiori app UI extension approach for the SAP developers who makes the applications extensible and the customers and the partners who extend the application for custom approval processes. So it is a well documented use of tools for the customers and the partners. So for the UI extensibility, the customers and the partners, they use only Eclipse. And for the OData extensibility, we use the SCGW tool which is proposed by the SAP NetWeaver Gateway. Thereby, it allows the customers to protect their investments to keep the support cost for SAP as low as possible. So here in this we need to have a few assumptions. So first of that is that the PSP application which is as ABAP and the UI project which is a non-ABAP, it should be delivered. After that, the upload and the download mechanism of the UI project remains same. Then the SAP Fiori specific UI application development or the programming guidelines, they are released, and the UI developer who is working on this is conversant with the HTML5 or JS and is conversant with the Eclipse and the team provider. So the SAP Fiori application development and the programming guidelines, they are available with the UI developer, and for the backend developer configures the extension application name and uploads the UI project to the ABAP repository. After that, we have the extensibility by content layer. So SAP Fiori application can be extended by enhancing one or multiple content layers depending on the extension requirements and the application type. So the criteria for determining whether or not a layer must be enhanced is described as per the table which is in the screen. So SAP Fiori applications, basically they can be extended by enhancing these layers which are there in this slide. So on the left hand side we can see the overall high level architecture for SAP Fiori, in which we have the database, we have the backend server, we have HANA Access Engine, then the front-end server and the reverse proxy. So in the table we can see like to which level at each content layer the extension is required and for which apps it is relevant. So we can see that for the UI content layer, the backend logic and the content required for the app extension, they exist in the gateway layer but is not exposed in the app's UI. So they are relevant for the transactional and the analytical app. Then the content layer gateway. So in this where our OData resides, so the backend logic and the content required for the app extension, it exists in the business suite layer but is not exposed in the app's gateway service. So they are again applicable for the transactional and the analytical app. Then we have HANA. So the backend content required for the app extension that exists in the HANA models and is not exposed in the app's OData service. So these are applicable for the analytical apps. Then for the business suite, the backend logic and the content required for the application enhancement does not exist in the business suite, and these are applicable for the transactional and a bit for the fact sheets. Then we have the search model. So the backend logic is not exposed in the application's gateway service. So these search models, they are used for the fact sheets. So this is how basically these are the 5 content layers which are there in the SAP Fiori. So we can do the extension at each and every layer for the particular app. Then these are the extensibility steps for the transactional app. So we have 3 systems here. The first one is the BAP backend enhancement where my body system is there. Then we have the UI development. It is on the Eclipse. Then we have the ABAP gateway server. So first of all, we need to have the standard app which is running in the SAP Fiori Launchpad. After that, in the UI development, we have to download the standard application from the ABAP gateway server. Then in the ABAP backend enhancement, we have to implement the backend bodies. We have to add the fields in extension, which includes the OData DDIC structures. Then we have to create the new OData project that redefines the standard OData project. After that, in the UI development area, we have to create the custom UI application and we have to implement the extensions. Then we have to register the new service which is created and we have to configure the OData URL for the new OData service. Then we build and test it on the local Fiori Launchpad. After that, we upload the custom app to the ABAP gateway server and we configure the custom app in the Fiori Launchpad at last. So these are the 12 steps which are required for extensibility of a transactional app. Now these are the extensibility skills which are required. So the customers who extends a SAP Fiori app, they needs to have following skills depending on the type of application and the extension. So here we can see that for the content layer business suite, we need to have the knowledge on the ABAP and the business suite. After that, for the gateway, we need the ABAP and the SAP NetWeaver gateway. Similarly, for HANA, the HANA native development experience is required. For the UI, the developer should know the SAP UI5, OData protocol, HTML5, JavaScript, and SAP Fiori specific UI development. Similarly, for the search models, we should have the knowledge of ABAP and the business suite. After that, we have the extensibility tools. So the customers who extends the SAP Fiori app, they need to have the following tools depending on the type of the application and the extension they are doing. So we can see in this slide that for the content layer business suite, we need to have the extensibility tool, which is my ABAP object navigator, that is SE80. Then the ABAP dictionary, which is SE11. For the gateway, again we need to have the SE80 and SE11 and the SEGW, which is my SAP NetWeaver gateway service builder. For HANA, we need to have the HANA Studio. Similarly, for the transactional apps, we need the Eclipse with the ABAP repository team provider. For the smart business apps, we need the Smart Business Modeler. Similarly, for the other analytical apps, we need the Eclipse with the ABAP repository team provider. For the fact sheet apps, we need SPRO, which is the ABAP customizing environment. Then for the search models also, we need the SPRO. So these are the extensibility tools which are required when we work on the SAP Fiori extensibility. So now, first of all, we'll start with the OData extensibility. So in this diagram, we can see that first of all, I have my SAP business suite in which I have my whole business data residing. Then we have the SAP NetWeaver gateway in which we are creating our OData services. After that, these OData services, they are accessed by the outside world using the SAP mobile platform or using the portals. So my OData is an open standard API through which the external applications and the devices, they can communicate with my backend business systems. So the OData interface to the ABAP based systems is provided through the SAP NetWeaver gateway. So the benefits of OData are that it is any environment, any platform and any experience. After that, it is suitable for any SAP Business Suite version. Then in order to consume an OData service, the developer of the client application does not require any internal knowledge of the SAP system. After that, so these are the extension areas which are applicable for my OData extensibility, that is my DDIC includes and the bodies. Then under the redefine, we have the include MDC and inherits the DPC. Then the tools which are required for my OData extension, they are SCGW, SC11 and SC80. So the skills needed to successfully implement this type of extension includes the understanding of SAP NetWeaver Gateway and ABAP type skills. So depending on the SAP Gateway OData service, there could be two extension areas that include the data dictionary includes and the business add-ins, that is my bodies. After that, in this we will focus on the data dictionary includes, and then we'll proceed with a technique known as a redefine. So this technique allows for a new project to be created and then references the standard project, therefore including the model data classes and inherits the data provider classes. So the main actions which will be performed in the gateway service builder transaction, that is in my SCGW, then the ABAP dictionary maintenance transaction, which is SC11, and the object navigator transaction, which is my SC80. So to achieve a modification free extension using the redefine technique, it is first necessary to open the desired extension include structures in the transaction SC11, where we can add the fields into the structure by appending them. Once the necessary fields have been included, we can then open the gateway service builder transaction and create a new project which redefines the standard delivered project. So if necessary, we can also add any additional code in the extended classes which can be performed in SC80. So to add the data into the data dictionary, we have to open SC11 on the backend server and enter the include structure into the data type field, and we have to choose the display. So the extension includes can be found in the help documentation, and they can be found in the app extensibility area of a specific app. After that, these are the three tools which are used. First one is the SC11. That is to achieve the modification free extensibility, we have to use the redefine concept that is available as part of the SAP NetWeaver Gateway. So this approach allows to achieve the modification free extension of SAP Fiori applications. So in this we can see that in SC11 we add the fields into the extension include structure. In SCGW we create a new OData project by redefining the out of the box OData project. In SC80 this is the object navigator in which the code in the extended runtime and the model class needs to be written. After that we have the OData extensibility, that is my NetWeaver Gateway. So in this we have the customer DPC class and the SAP delivered DPC class. So we extend an apps gateway layer when we need to expose the backend logic and content to the UI layer. So in SAP NetWeaver Gateway Service Builder, and that is my transaction SCGW, redefine the relevant gateway service for the app. Then we have to refer to the various SAP nodes which are available for the details of how to extend an OData service. So to get the name of your BSP application, we have to refer the application specific documentation. So using the approach mentioned here and the generation of OData project of the customer, it leads to the runtime artifacts where the customer DPC class is a subclass of SAP delivered class. So one can check this by looking into the super class of the customer's data provider classes. So this is basically, like we can see here, that my the customer DPC class, it is derived from my SAP delivered DPC class. After that, these are the steps like how we need to do it. So in the OData extensibility, we have to add the data to the DDIC. So we have to go into the system where my IW_BEP is installed. Then we have to open the include structure and append the new fields. Then we have to redefine. So again we have to go into the system where my IW_BEP is installed. So we have to create a new project that redefines the standard object. Then we have to provide the SAP service name. We have to choose the entities and the properties. Then we have to add the custom properties to the existing entities and custom entities. We need to add basically the custom properties as well as the custom entities. Then we have to add the CRUDQ code for the customer entities, and then we have to generate the runtime objects. So these we will be checking in when we will be actually logging into the system, and I'll show you how to do this. Then at last we have to go into the maintenance service transaction, and we have to register our custom service. So then we have to open up, like we have to choose the call browser, and we have to go to the gateway client, and we can check the results of the OData extensibility there. So this way we can extend our OData into my SAP Fiori extensibility section. Then let's come to the UI extensibility. So first we have covered the OData extensibility. Now we will be covering the UI extensibility. So now in the UI extensibility, UI extensibility concept, it allows a customer to do the extensions modification free for few of the extensibility use cases. So the extensibility concept provides a very high flexibility of extensions. However, flexibility leads to the complexities. So one should look for the specific places where SAP has enabled the extension points. So one has to check if the extension requirements can be met using one of the following option, which is my I18N resource extension, view extension, view modification, controller extension using a hook. Only in the cases where above mentioned options cannot be used to achieve a given requirement, so we can use the options like the view replacement, controller extension, and the custom view. So here what our end user will see is a custom OData service that redefines the SAP OData service, a custom UI application that extends the SAP UI application, a custom tile that points to the custom application on the end user's launchpad. Here also we have certain assumptions. So we need to first of all we need to have the PSP application and the UI project. Then the upload and the download mechanisms of the UI project remains it should be remaining same. After that, the SAP Fiori specific UI application development or the programming guidelines are released. Then the UI developer is again he has to be conversant with the HTML5 or the JS. Then the UI developer has to be conversant with the Eclipse and team provider. SAP Fiori application development or the programming guidelines, they are available, and as a backend developer it configures the extension application name and uploads the UI project to the ABAP repository. Then this is the overview of the UI extensibility. So basically it is extending my app, and it is like basically like similar to the creating a copy of the previous one, and we are extending the standard application. After that we have the UI extensibility enablement of the applications. So in this we can see the various SAP Fiori application types, then OData in the NetWeaver gateway, then the HANA content, and the UI application. So for the transactional apps in my OData in NetWeaver gateway, the action is required by the OData developer. Then extension includes and the parties. After that, in the UI application, the action is required by the UI developer, extension points, IDs for the controls, controller hooks, so they need to be configured. In HANA, so my OData is not applicable, and my HANA content is also no action required on this side. But in the UI application, the action required by the UI developer. So again, we have to configure the extension points, IDs for the controls, and the controller hooks. Similarly, we have the smart business apps, so and for the fact sheet. So there is no action required for the smart business app and the fact sheet. After that, these are the UI extensibility extension areas. So we have the views, controllers and I18N. And the tools available are SAP River, RDE and the Eclipse. So the UI applications have identified the areas where the application can be extended. So these areas include the views, controllers and the language property files, which are also known as the I18N files. So to perform an extension on an application, the tools such as the SAP River Rapid Development Environment or the Eclipse can be used. So SAP River RDE has templates built which allow for the easy generation of extension projects and the templates that will generate the stubs for each of the identified extension areas. So a good starting point for generating an extension project is to first reference the standard project to understand the structure of a Fiori UI app. Then these are the certain prerequisites which are required for the UI extensibility. That is, we have to install the ABAP development tools for the SAP NetWeaver. Then we have to refer to this area for setting up the ABAP team provider. Then we have to install the SAP UI5 application development tool for the Eclipse. We have to refer to the SAP Note for the installation of the UI development toolkit for HTML5. Then we have to ensure that all the SAP UI5 plugins are version 1.16.2 or higher. Then the version numbers appear on the installed software tab. So we can see the help about Eclipse installation details to check the version number. After that, we have to ensure the local Tomcat web server is configured to work with SAP UI5 Eclipse. Then this is the UI extensibility process. So first of all, we have to download the SAP delivered standard application from the ABAP system. Then we have to test the SAP delivered standard application in the local Launchpad sandbox environment. We have to create a custom application that extends an SAP delivered standard application. We have to check the SAP enabled extension options. Then we have to define the extensions metadata. Then we have to test the custom application on the local Launchpad sandbox environment. We have to upload the custom application to the ABAP system. Then the smoke test the custom application on the ABAP system. Then we have to configure the custom application on SAP Fiori Launchpad, and then we have to test the custom application on SAP Fiori Launchpad. So these are the steps which we need to follow for the UI extensibility. Then these are the delivered projects. So first of all, we have the CSS, which is the application specific styles. Then we have the I18N, that is the language properties file. Then the view, which includes my applications, views and the controllers. Then the components.js, which contains the project metadata, resource and navigation paths. So this file can be extended. Then we have the configuration.js, which is my OData service properties file. Then the preload files, which are my minimized application called by default, and the URL parameter to disable here. So some of the most important folders include the CSS folder, which are the styles that are specific to the application and deviate from the standard Fiori styles. Then the I18N folder, these are the property files used to provide the language specific translations. The view folder contains the views which define the controls and the layout that a user of the application experiences, as well as the controller files which provide the functionality of the views. So these files in the view folder are the ones which will be extended in most cases. So the component.js is the main entry point for the application. This is the file that an extension project will extend. Within this file, we will find the project metadata, pathing locations for the resource files such as the I18N files and images, as well as the navigation paths which are known as routes. There is a component preload file. So this file contains the entire application minimized into the one file. So this is done to allow the application to be loaded from a client browser from a single file, which enhances the performance for a user. There is also a debug version of the file which is created in a readable format. So the last file to note is the configuration file, which contains the OData service definition. So these are my SAP delivered projects in the UI extensibility area. After that, we have the SAP Gateway project upload. So we have to verify the component load is relevant for the SAP Gateway. Then in the T code SE38, we have to run the program UI5 repository load, or the ABAP team repository provider can be used to upload the Z project. Once uploaded, we can test the project in the Launchpad. So when our extension project is complete, so first of all, we have to basically verify that our component load URL is correct for our SAP Gateway system in our component.js file. Then we can use the program which is my UI5 repository load to upload the project, or if we are using the Eclipse, we can also use the ABAP team repository provider. So once our project is uploaded, we can configure it in the Launchpad and verify that it works as desired. Now we have completed the OData extensibility and the UI extensibility. So now let's move to the extending of SAP Fiori fact sheets. So now in the fact sheets extensibility, the extension areas are the search model and the UI annotation file. And the tools which we use for the fact sheets extensibility, they are the ESH modeler, ESH or the ESH cockpit, then the SC80 and SAP River RDE or the Eclipse. So when our extension project is complete for this one, so the next step is like if we want, we can extend the fact sheets as well. So the skills needed to successfully implement this type of extension include an understanding of SAP systems, business objects, and corresponding annotation files. So the fact sheets have two areas that can be extended: the search models and the annotation files. So the search models, they exist in the backend system and can be accessed using either the modeler or the cockpit transactions, which are listed into this slide. After that, data in the models is read from an OData service that connects to the search model by its corresponding search connector. So this data is then presented to the user via an annotation file. So the annotation files, they exist on the front-end server and can be accessed through the ABAP repository transaction, which is SC80. So the files can be modified directly in the ABAP repository or by using the tools such as the SAP River Rapid Development Environment, which has the templates which allows for the easy modifications. After that, we have to determine the software component or the model. So in the case of extending a fact sheet, it is first necessary to determine the appropriate search model. So this information can be found in the app implementation area of the corresponding application help documentation. It can also be found in the note listed on the slide. So we have this note, SAP note 1861013. So in this also we can find the information about each and every search model. So this note contains a list of the connectors required for each fact sheet. So the slide shows the search model of the material fact sheet, which is material underscore H, and is the fact sheet will focus on further. So after that we have the software component. So we have the ESH modeler for it. So once the search model is known, we can then proceed into the modeler transaction. So within the modeler, we have to create a new software component, and then we have to include the base software component. The base software component we will use for the material fact sheet is SAP APP-LH, which is relevant for all the ERP models. Also, we can see on this screen are the software components for the GRC and SRM. So once we are done, we can then proceed to edit the model. Now we have to edit the search model. So we can choose the edit, which will open a roadmap where we can modify the configuration of a search model. So at a minimum, we have to specify the additional fields. In this case, we'll add the field last changed by selecting the checkbox which is highlighted on the screen. So here we can see that we have added this field last changed. So we can also choose the fields to be searchable, but care should be taken to make sure that the fields are readable text. So if we add the additional tables, it may be necessary to specify the relationship in the step here. So the node relations. So but now we'll proceed with the step which is the node response. So after that, so here we have shown like how to edit the search model. Then we have the so within the node response step, we can select the table node, and then we can add the additional fields into the response attributes. So we can see here that within the response attributes, we can add the additional fields. So in this case here we are adding the last change values into the Mara node. So after we have added any additional fields, we can then complete the process by choosing the finish button. After completing the so we can just click on this finish button. So after completing our modifications to the model, we can then choose the actions button and choose the create connector. So we have to just go here to the action button and we can click on this create connector. So we can also utilize the noted program in the transaction SE38, where we can delete and create the connectors and also index the connectors. So this is the program in SE38. Once the connector has been created, the corresponding OData service will automatically pick up the changes to the search model. We can test this by finding the service in the maintain service transaction and either open it in the gateway client or into our browser. It may be necessary to clear the cache on both the front end and the back end servers if our changes are not being shown. This can be accomplished by running the 2 cache cleanup transactions on the corresponding server. So this is how when we test our OData service in the fact sheets extensibility area. So we can see here that the last change is added to my fact sheet, my search model. After that we have the annotation file. So once the OData service has been verified to contain the additional fields, we can then make our modifications to our annotation file. So the relating annotation file name, it can be again found in the application implementation area of the fact sheet under the extensibility section. So to add the fields, we can either utilize the SAP River RDE, which has templates to easily modify the fact sheet, or we can directly create a Z copy of the file within the ABAP repository. So in this slide, we can see the code necessary to add the last change value to the fact sheet. So we can see this code here. In this case, we also added a title string value to the online text repository and utilize the OTR function to look it up. So we can see that the OTR function is used here. After that, once the modification to the annotation file have been completed, we would then update the Launchpad configuration. So by configuring the fact sheet in LPD cust and finally adding the target mapping in the Launchpad designer. So after that we should be able to see our changes in the Launchpad. So we have to basically add the target mapping. So now after that, these are the high level steps which are there for the fact sheets extensibility. That is, first of all, we have to extend the search model with the required fields. Then the corresponding OData service is enhanced automatically. Then in SCAT, the search for the suitable BSP application. Then we have to copy the content of the attached annotation file into another editor and make our changes in the annotation. Then we have to create our own BSP application. After that, we have to copy the content of the extended annotation file to the new BSP application. Then we have to register the BSP application in the Launchpad customizing, which is my LPD cust transaction. And then we have to configure the new SAP Fiori Launchpad tile to map it to the extended app. So basically till now we have seen how to extend the OData model, how to extend the UI, and then how to extend our search models. So now we will log in into the system and we will see how we can extend the OData. So I'll go back to my Fiori system. So in this exercise we will add the custom fields to the SAP Fiori apps UI. So adding the custom fields in SAP Fiori apps UI is a common customer requirement. So the customers often have the custom fields in the ERP backend applications, and our task is to include these customer fields in the SAP Fiori apps. So after completing this exercise, we will be able to extend the OData service of my SAP Fiori My Quotation app to include the new field, and will be using the My Quotation app for this exercise. So first of all, we have to extend the corresponding ABAP DDIC structure using the append structure. So let's log in into my backend system. So this is my backend system. I will log into it using my credentials. After this, once we are logged in to the system, then we have to go to the transaction SCAT. In SCAT, in the drop down, we have to choose the package. And then we have to choose ERP SD OData My Quotation as the package name. Then we have to click on the green check mark here. So this is my package name. I'll click on the display. After that, we have to go to the dictionary objects and the structures inside it. So this is my dictionary object. I'll go to the structures inside it, and we will scroll down to the TDS OData Quotation Partner N. So this is my structure. I have to double click it to see its current components. So once we will double click it, it will list out the component list which is inside that. Just a minute. There is some issue, so let's try to open it up again. Okay, so we'll again go to SCAT. And let's open up this again. That is my dictionary objects and the structures inside it. So let's try to open it up again. That is my partner N. Okay, so now we are able to view the component list which is there for this structure. So if we want to add the new one here, so what we can do is we have to choose the append structure button. So as soon as we'll click on this append structure, we will be able to see like whether we have already a append structure to it, or if not, then we can create the new one. So here we already have the append structure for it. So we can see that this is my append structure which is there, and in this we have added the field which is my extension. So we can just close this and we can use the same one. So in this we can see that we have added this extension text. Now after that, otherwise we can just give the name to the append structure and we can add the field which we want. So here we have to enter the fields manually, and we have to like after that we have to save and activate the append structure. So once done, we will be able to see these fields which are added to the append structure as a highlighted one. So here we can see that we have this extension text in blue. So this is my appended, these are my appended fields. After that, we have to extend the OData service via the redefine approach. So for that we have to go to my front end server. So we'll go here and we'll log into my front end server. So we'll just continue. And we have to go to the transaction, that is my service builder transaction, which is SCGW. Now in this we have to create a new project as a local object by selecting the new button. So here we have to give the name of the project. So let's say if I give it as Z underscore might be the test 2, and we have to give the description of it. So let's say I give it here as the extended OData services. After that we have to provide the project name as the service with SAP annotation, and the generation strategy as standard, and we have to choose this local object as a package type. So now we can see this project available here, and we can choose the display or change button if we want to edit it. Now we have to right click the data model folder, and we have to go to the redefine OData service, which is my gateway service. So we have to enter the technical service name here and the version of it. So let's say if I give the technical service name here, which is my LOD, my quotation SRV, which is my standard service, and here we have to give the version number, and then we have to click on next. Then we have to select all the artifacts by choosing this button, and then we have to click on finish to create an extended OData service. Now we should see all the entities and the properties of the original service in our extended OData service. So if I expand the entity types, I can see all the properties, they are available, all the entities they are available into my project. After that, in our extension project, we can drill down to the properties of the partner entity type, and we can double click it. So here we have the partner entity. We have to double click the properties of it. So right now it has all the properties which came by default. So in this we have to click on the edit, change mode. So yes, I want to save it. And in this we can then click on this append row button to add the new property. So we have to enter the detail now. So in the name field, so let's say if I want to give the name as title, after that we have to select the EDM type. So if I go here and I select it as a EDM string, after that we have to give the maximum length of it. So say it's 25. Then the label of it, so let's say it's again the title. And then as a ABAP field, we have to choose the newly added field which we extended. So if we go here, then we can see the field which was there. So if I go here, not to this, not the unit property. So we can just select this dummy include field to be used as a ABAP field here. After that, once done, we have to just select the green checkbox which is here, and then we will be done with it. So we have to basically enter the field which we just entered, that is my dummy include, and we have to select that field as a ABAP field. So our property table is now looking like this, wherein we have the name, we have the EDM type, we have the field. So all these things are there, and now we have to check the project consistency by choosing this one, that is my check project consistency. After that we have to, once this is done, then we have to check generate the runtime objects by choosing this generate runtime objects. So in this we can also specify, if we want to change the name of the service, then we can change the name of the service here. If we don't want to do it, then we can just keep this name as it is, and we will click on the continue. Here we will choose the local object, and it will create the run. It is just creating a runtime object. So let's wait for it to done. Okay, so it is still working, so that we can see on the top that the bar is that the progress is still running. Okay, so now the runtime objects, they are generated for this service. So if we go here to the runtime artifacts, so we can see that we have the runtime artifacts for it. Now we have to go back to the standard project, wherein we have to go to the project. If it is not already open, we can use the open project. After that we have to navigate to the runtime artifacts, and then we have to go to the MPC extension class. So we will double click this extension class, and now if we again double click it, so we will be able to see all the methods inside it. So we have to go to the methods redefinition, and we have to double click on this define method. Here we have to copy the code here which is there into my redefinition define method. So we'll just copy paste it into a notepad file, After this, we have to again go back to our project, which is our Z project. So let's go back to our transaction, and then we have to go to our Z project, which is zlot test 2. Now in this again, what we have to do is we have to go to the we'll now follow the same process which we done for our extended project with the class Z extension class. So in the field under the class interface, we have to enter this one. So what we will do is we will go back to our backend system. Now in this, we have to select the repository object as the class or the interface, and here we have to select our class, which is our MPC class. So we can just select our class which is there. Just a minute. So now we have to open our Z project and we have to go to the MPC extension class. So this is our MPC extension class. So we will just double click this MPC extension class. And after that, we have to navigate to the methods, inherited methods. Then we have to right click this define. And we have to click on this redefine. So this will basically produce the redefinition folder and move the define method to that folder. So what it has done is that it has come here. If I expand this redefinition now, so I can see the define method here. So I can just double click this area and I can copy paste the code which we have taken from the standard one. So we can just copy paste the code here. After that, once this is done, we have to choose the check consistency button. Sorry, this one we have to check the consistency, and once done we have to click on save, and then we have to activate this method. We have to just click on the check mark. Now once this is activated, we have to register our extended OData service. So what we will do is we have to go to the SEGW, and then we have to choose our project, which is zlot test 2. Under that, we have to go to the service maintenance and we have to click on register. So we will just register this service. Yes, we want to continue. And here we have to give the local object. And then after that, we have to click on this button. So now this is the status screen. Then I have to click on this maintain. So here I can see that our project is added to the service catalog. So we can see our service and the project both are added to the catalog. So now we have to go to the SICF transaction. So basically here we have to go to the SICF transaction or the maintain service transaction. So we can go to the home page and we have to click on the SICF transaction here. Now here we have to give our service name, which is Z underscore lord underscore test 2 underscore SRV. After that, we have to click on execute. Now we have to double click our service name here, which is zlot test2 srv, and then we have to go to the change mode. Now we have to click this GUI configuration, and we have to enter the parameter name here, which is this one, check CSRF token, and we have to enter the value as 1. After this, we have to click on this copy parameter set button. So once done, we can see that we have all these properties set up, and then we have to click on save. Now we are done with all the steps which we need to perform. Then at last we have to test our OData service. So for this, what we will do, we have to go to the maintain service transaction, and first of all we will run the service which was the earlier one, that is my load my quotation service. So I'll just go to that service which was my load my quotation service. So this is the one. So we have to go to the gateway client, and we have to get the metadata of this service. So what I will do, I will just change this URL to enter the metadata here. After that, once done, we have to click on the execute. Now here we can find out the field which was title. So we can go here. Now we have to just expand it, and we can just do a control F for the title field. Or we can also check for the partner. So now here we can see in the partner that there is no property for the title which is there. After that, we have to go to our service. So we have to just close this one. This is my partner set, right? So in the partner, we can see the quotation ID, we can see the postal code, and all these fields, but the title field is not there. So what we will do is we can now just go back to our service. So we can just change the URL here to show to our service, which is z underscore load underscore test2 underscore srv, and then we can click on this dollar metadata. We can click on the execute now. Okay, so I think I have given the wrong name or something, so let me check that. Okay, so I have given the spelling here wrong, so we have to give the metadata. Now in this, we can just go and find out the partner. And in this, we can see that we have the title field which we just added. So this is our new service, which is my zload test2 srv. So this is how we can extend our OData services. So this is the end of this session. So basically in this session, we have seen how we can extend our OData services, how we can extend the UI, and how we can extend the search models. Then we have seen the live example for the OData service. So this is the end of this session. Thank you.